And hello, Space Engineers. This is Mr. Kassarian, and welcome back to Space Engineers. Woo. Yay, Space Engineers. Alright, so what are we doing today? We are going to actually be building another drone. Yes, another drone. Why are we building another drone? Well, that's actually a pretty good question. And to answer that, let's just say that it has to do with our military ship over there. Yes, because she is actually going to have a fighter bay. Fighter bay. Yes, a fighter bay. Yes. And we're going to be building this little drone over here, I do think. What we'll do for right now is we'll open up this thing. We'll get a couple hundred steel plates just to start out with. Good. And we're just going to expand something. We're going to build an expansion to this platform, and I don't know where I'm going to put it yet. We'll put it over here, actually. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll go up here. Beautiful. And then just to make it actually look like a landing pad, we'll do this. Because heavy armor blocks are always good, right? Right. And that, there we go. Let's just get our welding ship and we can weld it all up. Okay, good. Just chop that off there. And hopefully we don't run out of steel plates for doing this, because that'll make me look really silly. We're going to run out of steel plates, because this game loves making me look silly. Yep, out of steel plates. Awesome. Hopefully I produce some more, otherwise this is going to be a fairly short episode. So let's see. Steel plates. Perfect. Because I like my steel plates. By like, I mean I burn through so many of them I don't know what I'm doing anymore. And we're out again. Oh man, gotta love building in Space Engineers. That's one of the things you really get used to, Space Engineers Minecraft, is not having the inventory space you're used to if you play Minecraft. Excuse me. Station. Excuse me, buddy. Aren't you supposed to be allowing me to connect to you? Huh. Let's do this. There we go. That fixed the issue for some unknown reason. Oh good, and they finally changed that. Alright. There we go. Now we have enough steel plates to do this. Alright, good. Just that wonderful moment of, running out of resources again, guys. Don't mind me. So while I'm building this, I just want to talk for a minute about something, which is how awesome it is that, like, and this is not something people think about very often, but just how awesome it is that we have gone to space. Like, we as a human race have gone to space. We've put people into space. We put people on the bloody moon, for Christ's sakes, and brought them back. Like, just how awesome is that, you know? It's like, wow, we rock. We kind of suck, but we also rock, you know? It's like, on the one hand, we kill each other a lot. On the other hand, we, you know, we're pretty darn good at this, you know? Like, hey, world, we're humans, and we put a man in space, you know? I mean, we can't figure out how to not to kill each other all the time, but we put a dude in orbit. We put a dude in space, you know? It's like, wow, that's pretty awesome when you think about it. That we managed to do something that awesome. How is this going to look? That's a good question. Alright, so we're going to need some construction components for that. I think that's what we're going to do, actually. We're going to do catwalk versus the full cover walls. Full cover walls are cool. Nope. Full cover walls are cool, but no. Like, they'd look awesome, but there's no way to do a corner with them. Oh, there's no gravity over there. You know, it's like, we rock. You know, I don't want to babble about this for too long, but it's like, wow, I can't believe we actually done that. Well, I can, you know, I should. I am not a person, by the way, to say, oh, we didn't really go to the moon. You don't want to start that argument with me. You really, really don't. I actually had a family. My grandfather worked on the Apollo program. And trust me, there's no reason you need an antenna that powerful unless you're going to the flippin' moon. Especially at the level of technology we were at the time, there's no reason you need antennas like that unless you're going to the moon. But it's also the comment of atop that much rocket fuel, where the hell else would they have been going? I mean, seriously. This is like, let's use some logic here. You know, in addition to that, it's like, one, we were in the middle of the space race with the Russians. If the Russians had thought there was anything weird going on, they would have been screaming about it from the rafters. And really, the only way that we actually could have faked it convincingly was to put something out on the moon to relay signal. And by the time we're doing that, and it wouldn't be that much more difficult to just put a crew out there. All right, you know what? That can wait. We don't need to get that done. So, I know people are going to say, well, you know, Van Allen belts. The Van Allen belts actually aren't that dangerous. The real thing is, one, how long you spend in them is a huge thing. And Apollo never spent that long in them. All right, so let's do a new small ship. Which is something people forget quite often, actually, is how fast that thing was actually moving. Alright, so we're going to start with this. And the double layer of heavy armor should give you a fairly good clue. They're building something vaguely military. Okay, so then we want to start with... Let's do this. I mean, just the fact that we're doing, you know... Listen. Other than where the hell else are you going to go, the main issue to think about is that people think of radiation as something that will always kill you, right? That isn't really accurate. Radiation and radiation danger is a matter of exposure, your rate of exposure, and how much time you spend in the radiation zone. All right? I don't have any interior blades. No. So if you don't spend you don't spend that long inside a radiation zone, or, more likely, you don't spend enough time in that radiation zone to accumulate the dosage you would need to actually cause damage, then it's not going to be an issue. So, for Apollo, for example, they didn't spend that long in the Van Allen belts because they were moving bloody fast. We're talking thousands of kilometers per second. Just process that for a minute. Thousands of kilometers per second. All right? Beyond that, most radiation isn't just radiation. Radiation is a little bit more complex than that. Radiation comes in a couple different varieties, and we're just going to talk about the standard ones, alpha, beta, and gamma radiation. Alpha radiation ain't that dangerous. Unless you're ingesting an alpha radiation source, you don't need to worry about it. Because alpha radiation can actually be stopped by the dead skin cells that line your skin. All right? That's how not an issue it actually is. Right, dead skin cells lining your skin can stop it. All right? So that means that in essence, then there's beta. Beta, it's a little bit more dangerous. Your skin can't stop it. What can stop it is aluminum. Aluminium, for those of you from across the pond. Now, both the lander and the command module had a double layer aluminum honeycomb lattice that was actually specifically intended to stop radiation from damaging the crew. Now, the stuff you really need to watch out for in this is, of course, gamma radiation. And gamma's friggin' dangerous, all right? Don't get me wrong. Gamma will kill you. Gamma radiation you can only stop with lead. Yeah, lead. Nuclear reactors put out gamma radiation, and it's what most people tend to be most familiar with. Don't get close to a gamma radiation source, right? It's not good for your health. But even beyond that, you can be exposed to something like gamma radiation, and it won't kill you, as long as you don't absorb enough of it to cause permanent damage, to cause radiation poisoning. All radiation, at the end of the day, is going to cause damage of some sort or another. I could have sworn you had two outputs. Or do the small ones not? I don't think the small ones do. Right, okay. So, at the end of the day, and even if you absorb a decent amount of gamma radiation, you have to absorb over a certain threshold. More importantly, at least for astronauts, and for anyone else who spends a lot of time in or around radiation environments, your body has methods of fixing that, all right? Because it's doing the damage on each cell by each cell. And as long as the body can basically have the time to repair itself, it's not something you really need to worry about, all right? Now, that's not to say that radiation isn't incredibly bad for you, all right? Because it is. I mean, radiation is brutal, dangerous, nasty, kill you, chew you out, and, you know, forget about the pieces. But it's not the uber killer people like to seem to like to think it is. Durr. It's not harmless. All right, don't get me wrong here. It ain't harmless, but it's not the super killer. All right. So what does that leave us for the Apollo mission? Well, basically, it happened. I mean, I understand why people have trouble believing it. There are days when I have trouble believing it too. But the Apollo mission really did happen, and you know, I get that it seems like something more out of science fiction than anything that we've seen, but it isn't. You know, it actually occurred, and I know my grandfather worked on that project. And at the same time, it strikes me as a little defeatist to say that we didn't. This is one of the greatest achievements in human history. I mean, this is probably the greatest achievement in human history. No, maybe not the greatest, but one of them, certainly. So I don't understand why people seem to be obsessed with the idea of disproving that we actually did it. Because we did. There's no reason to honestly believe that we didn't. Every piece of science is that we can. We can still bounce signals off of the laser reflectors that we put on the moon. That's been independently verified. That's half the reason we bloody well did it. You know? So I don't understand this desire to say, oh, well, we couldn't have gone to the moon. It's like, think about this, man. Just think about that for a minute. You know, why wouldn't we go to the moon? Why would we decide that we, you know, why? Why wouldn't we? All right, I'm assuming that that's the port on the back for that. All right. So these are FEH-1 Type 64 machine guns. And what we're going to do, excuse me, is we're going to put in some curved... Actually, what we can do is we can just do some more small conveyors there. Why am I doing small conveyors there? Well, because this thing's going to be kind of pancake-like. And then we should be able... Oh, unless it's on the bottom. Hold on. It doesn't look like it. Alright, then let's do that. And I do want to make sure that this is actually accessible. Oh, are we having massive bounding box issues with that? I don't think so. Alright, so those are in place. Hopefully they've actually connected. We'll test that now, actually. Just need some ammunition to test that with, but that's either here nor there. Yeah, it strikes me as defeatist, almost, to say that, oh no, we never went to the moon. You know, it's like, really? Why not? You know, do you really think we're not capable of doing it? There aren't any good reasons why it would be utterly impossible to do. Nope, those don't connect. Okay. Actually, I don't see any way of accessing the darn things. I mean, unless it's a power issue, which it could be. Actually, that probably is it exactly. It's probably a bloody power issue. Let's steal some uranium from in here. I know, I'm always stealing the uranium from this thing. But let's just take 1 unit of uranium. Actually, let's take 4. And let's junk it into this thing. How about that? Are we having conveyor issues today? Oh, no, this is interesting. Oh, for the love of Christ. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. There we go. Alright, so that is loading properly. Okay, good. Oh, gosh. There we go. Alright, so now that's functioning. That is also functioning. We'll put that in there just to feed into the rest of the reactors here. Okay, so that's good. We have our 2 launchers. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go like this. Alright, and then what I want to do as well is this is going to be, no, I need that there because that's actually important. I have no good place to stick this, do I? Oh, I kind of do. Alright, so this is going to weaken the armor pack just a little bit, but let's throw in our... Oh, hey, look at that. Oh, gosh. That's new. I like that. That's really nice, actually. Thank you. Thank you very much, Space Engineers. That is monstrously useful, actually. So put you there. And let's get back on our ship. So the way I'm building this is I want it to be as small as possible, all right? And so we're going to also mount our antenna back here. Oh, I need a small steel tube. Let's see. Come on. There you go. 1 small steel tube, if you would be so kind. And I think this episode's running long, but you guys can see what we're doing. We're building a very compact, very easy to work with little fighter. All right? That is also going to be relatively well armored. At least if my design plans fit. So we have 2 machine guns mounted. That's a good thing. We have rocket launchers. And this isn't going to be refillable from the inside. This is purely going to be... its rockets are purely going to be single-use packs, basically. So, we want now... How much space is there? Okay, so let's actually get rid of that. Because we want to be able to go Oop, not a cockpit. Armor block, please. There we go. And then what we'll do is we'll start covering this thing over, right? Now the weak spot's going to be that top bit, because that's where the remote and the antenna are located. But it shouldn't be too bad. That's one block, so we'll do that. And then what we'll do is we'll find our rocket launchers. Or we could use... I actually prefer the standard pack. Oh my gosh, thing is huge. Maybe we don't want to use that. Maybe we want to use the low profile one. Yeah, let's use the low profile one here. They just don't look right, though. That's the problem. Let's see here. Let's pop into this thing. I don't think those are functional. Well, that's too bad. So we'll have to go with standard launchers, just have them stick out wicked far. Alright, so actually what we can do is this. So I'll muck around with this off camera, and in the next episode we should come back, and you guys should be able to see this thing mostly completed. Until that point, at least, I want to thank you guys for watching. This has been Mr. Kasarian, and yeah, as always, guys, happy flying.